Keytruda QLEX, a subcutaneous version of the blockbuster cancer drug pembrolizumab, has been approved by the U.S. FDA as of September 19, 2025. This new formulation includes hyaluronidase alpha-PMH, an enzyme that allows the drug to be injected under the skin in just 1 to 2 minutes, compared to the traditional 30 to 60-minute intravenous infusion. Clinical trials have shown that the SC formulation delivers similar drug exposure, safety, and efficacy outcomes as the original IV version. Doses are available as 395 milligrams every 3 weeks or 790 milligrams every 6 weeks. This marks a major step forward in oncology treatment accessibility and convenience, potentially shifting more cancer care out of infusion centers and into community settings. It also places South Korea's biotech sector, possibly through Alteogen's proprietary enzyme, in a strategic position within the global immuno-oncology landscape.
Section Prior BBIU Coverage, Alteogen, July 2025. In July 2025, BBIU published a strategic executive report on Alteogen Inc., KOSDAC 19617DU, highlighting ALT-B4 as the company's central value driver. Revenue dependence. Over 80% of Alteogen's revenue derived from ALT-B4 licensing and services, with milestone payments from MSD, Sandoz, Intas, and Daiichi Sankyo. Financial profile, FY 2024. 92.97B consolidated revenue, 71.5 million, net income 71.33%, and cash reserves of 11.6 BBs, but fragile capital structure, convertibles, subsidiary deficits. Pipeline context. While Alteogen maintained a pipeline ALT-P7 ADC, L9 aflibercept biosimilar, LP1 long-acting HGH, AL2 trastuzumab biosimilar, BBIU stressed that 90% plus of enterprise value remained concentrated in ALT-B4. Strategic assessment. ALT-B4 was described not as an excipient, but as a programmable enabler of outpatient-ready SC delivery, redefining reformulation into an enzyme-modulated release paradigm. Risk factors: currency exposure, financial engineering, and lack of diversification. Verdict: Alteogen was identified as a rare South Korean biotech with real international cash flow, but structurally dependent on a single molecular engine. Integration with current event. The FDA approval of Keytruda QLEX SEP 2025 validates BBIU's July projection. From anticipation to execution, what we flagged as a fragile single-asset dependency has now become the defining success of the Korean biotech sector. Structural risk versus strategic payoff. Royalties projected at $1 trillion plus annually directly confirm our earlier valuation thesis, but also reinforce the concentration risk we identified. Symbolic amplification. This is precisely the moment BBIU forecasted. Korea exporting not a finished biologic, but a platform enzyme that underpins a global oncology blockbuster. BBIU opinion: Alteogen's ALT-B4 and the structural shift of Keytruda. The FDA approval of Keytruda QLEX, the subcutaneous formulation of pembrolizumab co-formulated with Alteogen's ALT-B4, is not a mere convenience upgrade. It represents a structural inflection point in global oncology, where the intersection of biology, regulation, and economics redefines the terms of value creation. Clinically, the transition from 30 to 60 minutes of intravenous infusion to a 1-2 minute subcutaneous injection is a paradigmatic shift. This is not incremental efficiency. It is a reallocation of therapeutic time, moving immune checkpoint blockade out of hospital infusion wards and into community clinics. By collapsing infusion into injection, the therapeutic geography of cancer care changes. Physicians will no longer need to schedule scarce infusion chairs. Patients will no longer spend half a day tied to a drip. The reduction of logistical burden is profound, and its secondary effects on adherence, accessibility, and patient quality of life are significant. Financially, the approval validates BBIU's July 2025 forecast that Alteogen's enterprise value is structurally concentrated in ALT-B4 Alteogen 19617. At that time, we stressed that over 90% of Alteogen's revenues derived from ALT-B4 licensing and services, with royalties being the decisive engine of future cash flow. The FDA's decision now operationalizes that thesis, with Merck projecting 30 to 40% migration of Keytruda patients to the SC formulation. Annual royalties to Alteogen are expected to exceed $1 trillion, USD 700 memmer. This estimate aligns with royalty structures in the 3 to 5% range of net sales, benchmarked by Halozyme's PH20. Importantly, this flow is recurring, global, and scale-dependent, the very opposite of milestone lump sums that defined Alteogen's past revenue profile. At the systemic level, the economics of healthcare delivery will shift unevenly. Hospitals, particularly in the U.S., will lose infusion-related technical margins as subcutaneous administration reduces billable procedures to simple injection codes. For payers and governments, however, the equation is inverted. Reduced chair time, lower nursing costs, and elimination of catheter complications translate into systemic savings. Even if Merck prices the SC formulation 5 to 10% above the IV, the inflection point where aggregate healthcare costs decline will occur once adoption crosses the 30 to 40% threshold, a tipping point projected around 2027. Strategically, Keytruda SC functions as a life cycle extension weapon. The IV patent cliff looms in 2028, but the SC formulation, protected by new patents and the ALT-B4 backbone, extends exclusivity into the early to mid-2030s. This defers the biosimilar threat and maintains Merck's oncology dominance for up to 7 additional years. The competitive implications are equally clear. Halozyme, long the sole provider of hyaluronidase-enabled SC formulations, now faces a validated rival. Alteogen's FDA-approved ALT-B4 is no longer a theoretical alternative. It is a direct competitor in global licensing. Final position. Keytruda SC is not simply an injection. It is a reconfiguration of oncology's operating system. For patients, it is time restored. For systems, it is efficiency unlocked. For Merck, it is dominance extended. And for Alteogen, it is the vindication of a platform. Yet the story is not finished. The next chapter will test whether Korea's most strategically validated biotech can diversify beyond a single enzyme, or whether ALT-B4 remains both its crown jewel and its singular dependency.
Welcome to the Biopharma Business Intelligence Unit, where symbolic integrity meets strategic clarity. At BBIU, we go beyond the headlines to decode the structural forces behind global biopharma, AI, and economic realignment. If you value precision, verification, and symbolic depth, this channel is for you. Subscribe now to access our weekly briefings, dossiers, and intelligence reports, and consider joining our institutional tier to unlock early warning systems, custom metrics, and exclusive strategic insight. You're not just listening, you're entering the future of epistemic intelligence. www.biopharmabusinessintelligenceunit.com